What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Weight Zone podcast, and we are back for another UFC event. Guys, this is the last UFC event for the whole year. We won't have another UFC event for another month after this, so let's cash on this event, guys. Hopefully we make some money on this last event. I'm very excited for this event. I'm a big fan of Colby Covington. I've been a fan of him for a long time. He's said some outlandish shit, and he's also said some things that went too far in my opinion too, but I'm still a fan of the guy, so hopefully we cash out on this event. And that's already a little sneak peek on who you probably know who I'm going to be picking in the main event, guys. But let's get into this fight card, guys. First fight of the night is going to be Josephine Knutsson taking on Piera Rodriguez. And I'm going to be taking Josephine Knutsson, guys. I think she's going to be able to keep the fight standing up and land those hard shots on the outside. She's a very good kickboxer. She has decent takedown defense. And the only way Piera is going to win this fight is if Piera takes her down. And I don't think she's going to be able to take her down. I think Josephine Knutsson is going to have really good takedown defense in this fight and land some kicks up the middle, throw some T kicks to the body, land some hard shots, and get the decision victory. I do see this fight going to decision, but I just think the judges are going to give it to Josephine just more that she's going to land the harder shots and we stop a lot of the takedowns. So give me Josephine Knutsson in the first fight. Next fight is going to be Davy Grant taking on Ramon Tavares, and I'm going to be taking Davy Grant on this one, guys. I think Davy Grant's the better fighter. Davy Grant's been in the UFC for a long time. He's been fighting for a long time, and every single time he fights, he's fought very high level competition. He's fought Adrian Yanez. Yanez is probably one of the best boxers in the UFC, and he went out there and went tit for tat boxing with him and actually put up a great fight. And every single time Davy Grant fights, guys, it doesn't matter who he fights, even if it's a top 5 fighter, he puts on a great fight and he goes out there and he's always going to make it a split decision. Where I thought he actually could have won the Adrian Yanez fight. It was a split decision. I had Yanez on the money line, but I was happy Yanez won. But Davy Grant put up a good fight, and he's fighting Ramon Tavares. Where Ramon Tavares this is his second fight in the UFC, and there's only 2 fights in the UFC. Where his first fight was in the Contender Series, and then he made his debut, both against the same guy in Series City. Series City dropped him in the Contender Series. They said it was an early stoppage, so they gave him another fight, but they gave him the fight again for his debut in the UFC. He went out there and won that fight, but in my opinion, I don't think he won that fight. I thought Series City won that fight. They gave it to Ramon by split decision, but I honestly really thought Series City won this fight. Ramon Tavares doesn't have a gas tank. He's going to come in there in the first round, maybe land some hard shots, but after that, I don't think he's going to be able to last. And with how Davy Grant is just a dog and how he keeps coming forward and doesn't stop moving forward, I just think Davy Grant's going to be the harder worker, outwork him, and have the better cardio win this fight. So give me Davy Grant to win this one. All right, guys, this is going to be Miranda Maverick taking on Jamie Lynn Horth, and this is a big favorite in Miranda Maverick, and I do think she's going to win this fight. I think she's going to go in here and get the takedowns and do whatever she wants. I thought Jamie Lynn Horth, I bet her on that ticket, but I thought Jamie Lynn Horth actually lost that fight to Petrovic. Petrovic is a girl that's a kickboxer. She doesn't really have a grappling background, but she was able to take down Jamie Lynn Horth with some weird headlock takedown over and over again. And I just think Miranda Maverick, with the wrestling credentials she has and with the size she has and the strength, I think she's going to be able to get the takedowns with ease and end up winning this fight with top control, or maybe even getting a submission victory. So give me Miranda Maverick in this one. All right, guys, and this one's going to be Miles Johns taking on Felipe Lima. And in this one, guys, I went back and forth all week. I was a big fan of Miles Johns. I bet him a lot. I've cashed a lot of tickets on Miles Johns just because he works really hard and gets those takedowns. But ever since he got caught with steroids, he hasn't been the same guy. And I really feel like, I don't know, maybe it was the steroids that was getting him to win those fights. We'll see coming into this weekend, because he is fighting a young prospect in Felipe Lima that a lot of people are liking. He has a really good striking. He has decent takedown defense. But I think the value right here is on Miles Johns' side. I can't tell you exactly what I'm going to be betting on this fight yet, but I can tell you I think my pick is going to be Miles Johns to win this fight. But I won't be surprised if Felipe Lima pulls it off. Like I said, Miles Johns goes in here, gets the takedowns over and over again, and Felipe Lima is a great prospect that has decent takedown defense, really good striking, and if he's able to stop the takedowns, I think he will win this fight on the feet. But if Miles Johns gets him down to the floor, I don't see a way there that Felipe Lima gets back up, and he probably ends up losing this fight by getting grounded out all 3 rounds. But like I said, guys, I don't know who I'm choosing yet, so stay tuned to that description, and I'll let you guys know who my bet is going to be for this fight if I do bet it. But I think at the moment I'm going to be picking Miles Johns, but I don't know if I'm going to be betting him. All right, guys, this next fight's going to be Sean Woodson taking on Fernando Padilla, and I'm taking Fernando Padilla in this one, guys. I think this is going to be a very competitive fight, going back and forth, 2 very lengthy fighters, and I just think this fight's going to come down to who lands the harder shots, and if it goes to decision, I think the judges are going to be looking who lands the harder shots and who has more damage. I think Sean Woodson's going to have more of the output, but Sean Woodson usually does good against people that he's a lot taller than, because he's really tall tall for the division, and he uses his length and his size to win a lot of his fights. But this one, he's going to be fighting a guy in Padilla that has just as long of a reach as him and almost as tall as him. So that length is not going to be a factor in this one. I think Sean Woods is going to go out here, maybe land the more strikes, maybe put more output. But I think Fernando Padilla is going to land the harder shots, maybe even knock out Sean Woodson. But even if he doesn't, I think if he goes to decision, the judges will be looking at it, see that he landed the harder shots, and choose Fernando Padilla. So we're taking Fernando Padilla on this one. This one's going to be Joel Alvarez taking on Jakar Close, and this is probably one of my most confident plays of the day, but he is a minus 400 favorite, but we will add him to a parlay, so stay tuned to that description. I'll let you guys know who I'm adding him to. But we're taking Joel Alvarez in this one to beat Jakar Close. I think Jakar Close is over the edge now. He's getting up there in age, and he's not really fighting good competition. And ever since he got vertigo from that push from Jeremy Stevens, he hasn't been the same guy. I think Joel Alvarez is going to go out here, land the harder shots, maybe even take him down, get a submission. I just think Joel Alvarez is going to win this fight however and whenever he wants. I think he can do whatever he wants with Jakar Close. So give me Joel Alvarez to win this fight inside the distance. All right, guys, this fight's going to be Michael Johnson taking on Otman Azatar, and I'm going to be taking Michael Johnson on this one, guys. Michael Johnson has good wrestling. He was a junior college division wrestler. He has good wrestling, decent takedown defense, and he has really good striking, really good boxing. Otman Azatar hits really hard, and he seems to be fast, but ever since he got caught with that backpack incident, if you guys remember that when his trainer or something tried to sneak the backpack in by climbing on the side of the roof of a building. It was kind of crazy, like some Mission Impossible type of shit, where he was trying to sneak in the bag, and then when they finally caught him and they asked him what was inside the bag because he refused to open the bag, he said it was potatoes. Guys, honestly, we all know at this point, if you guys look into the story, it was probably steroids. He was trying to sneak steroids in because he's been on steroids this whole time, and I just think ever since he's had that bag incident where he got caught, he hasn't won a fight. He's lost fights at low-level competition. He hasn't had that same explosiveness ever since he got caught with that bag incident. And I just think the UFC doesn't like this guy anymore, and I just think he's on his way out ever since he got caught with his steroid use. So give me Michael Johnson to win this fight. I think he's the better fighter, and especially with Otman's not juiced up going into this fight, he's probably going to lose. So give me Michael Johnson to win this. Guys, this is going to be another guy I'm very confident in, along with Joel Alvarez. It's Navajo-Sterling taking on Tuco Tokos, and I'm taking Navajo-Sterling. I think Navajo-Sterling knocks this dude out. I like Navajo-Sterling a lot. He's a great prospect fighting with City Kickboxing. He's starting to bring his grappling together. He has good takedown defense. He has amazing striking. And I really think he's going to knock this dude out. I don't think there's anything Tuco Tokos can do. I just think Navajo-Sterling is going to be levels above him. And I see Navajo-Sterling probably being a top 10 light heavyweight in the division one day. So give me Navajo-Sterling to win this fight, guys. All right, guys, this one's going to be Adrian Yanez taking on Daniel Marcos. And this one might be more of a heart pick for me, guys, but I'm taking Adrian Yanez. I think Adrian Yanez wins this fight. I think Daniel Marcos is a one-round type of fighter. I think after one round, he's going to go and try to put it on Yanez in the first round. And after that, I think he's going to gas out. And I think Yanez is going to be pushing the pace forward more, landing the harder shots, putting more crisp combinations together. And I think he's going to win this fight. Just because Daniel Marcos, he's a really good fighter, but I don't think his gas tank's going to be there. And Yanez has shown that he can go all 3 rounds and fight. Yes, he lost to Jonathan Martinez by leg kicks because he got his leg kick blown off. Yes, he got knocked out by Rob Font, but I think both of those fighters are better than Daniel Marcos. And Adrian Yanez, like I said, I think he's still to this day, even though he lost his fights, I think he still has really great boxing, one of the best boxing in the UFC. So give me Adrian Yanez as an underdog, guys. All right, guys, this is another fight where it's Victor Petrino taking on Dustin Jacoby, and I'm going to be taking Victor Petrino in this one, and I'm actually kind of scared to add him to a parlay, but I want to say I'm confident in him winning this fight, but at the same time, I'm scared to add him to a parlay. We saw him lose that fight to Anthony Smith where he just shot in a takedown and he got his neck taken, but Anthony Smith is actually a pretty decent grappler, so it makes sense. Dustin Jacoby's a kickboxer, and he's shown that he has no takedown defense, and I just think Victor Petrino is going to be able to take him down whenever he wants and probably win this fight by a submission or ground and pound. But if Dustin Jacoby keeps this fight standing, he's going to pick apart and piece up Victor Petrino. I can tell you that right now. He might end up knocking out Victor Petrino if this fight stays standing up. But at the same time, like I said, that's the only reason why I'm scared of adding him to a parlay, but I am confident in Victor Petrino to go in here, get the takedowns, win this fight, grind him out for 3 rounds and gas him out, or even win this fight by submission. Like I said, I'm kind of confident in him. I think he's a really good prospect, so give me Victor Petrino to win this. All right, guys, this one's going to be Manel Kape taking on Bruno Silva, and I'm taking Bruno Silva as the underdog in this one, guys. I think Manel Kape is a decent fighter, but every single fight he's fought in the UFC, he has low output. He seems like he should be a lot better than he really is, and he's fought a lot of people where he's fought Felipe Dos Santos, where Felipe Dos Santos has proven that he's not the best fighter nowadays, but he's just showing that he's not on this level that everyone thought Manel Kape was. Just because he did really good in the Ryzen and he was the Ryzen champion, a lot of people thought he was going to translate over here. But I just don't think he's going to be able to translate it to this. I think he's going to go out here, lose this fight to Bruno Silva. I think Bruno Silva is going to land the harder shots. I think it could go back and forth, maybe a 50-50 fight. But if you're going to give me a 50-50 fight on a guy that's over a plus 250 underdog, I'm going to be taking that plus 250 underdog on a 50-50 fight. So give me Bruno Silva to win this one, guys. All right, guys, this is the co-main event. It's going to be Cub Swanson taking on Billy Quarantillo. And I'm going to be taking Billy Q in this one. I think Billy Q is going to go in here, get the grappling exchanges off, take him down to the floor, and end up winning this fight with the grappling. I think he can go in here and end up submitting Cub Swanson, or even winning this fight by ground and pound. I think Cub Swanson's old at this point, guys. I don't think Cub Swanson beat Hakimo Dawadu. I thought he lost that fight, but just because his kids were in the arena, I thought they gave it to him. Cub Swanson did decent against Andre Fili, but before he won that fight, Andre Fili was touching him up a lot. And Andre Fili's not a guy that's going to go in here and try to take down Cub Swanson, but I just think Billy Q is going to go in here, take him down, show the grappling off, and end up winning this fight on the floor. So give me Billy Q to win this fight, mainly from the grapple. All right, guys, this is going to be the main event of the night. It's going to be Colby Covington taking on Joaquin Buckley. And like I said in the beginning of the whole entire video, guys, I'm a big fan of Colby Covington. I think he cashes this underdog ticket. I don't think Joaquin Buckley is a good fighter. I think he was losing that fight against Wonderboy, getting picked apart, and then he ended up knocking him out. I thought in the Vicente Luque fight, Vicente Luque even said he shouldn't have fought that night. He was not there, and Joaquin Buckley just got lucky that he fought a Vicente Luque that was just not ready to fight. And like I said, now I just think Colby Covington's, the only guy he's lost to was Kamaru Usman and Leon Edwards, two champions, and Joaquin Buckley is not on that level. I think Colby Covington is going to go in here, and Joaquin Buckley's first ever five-round fight, I think Colby Covington is going to grind him out for those first 2 rounds, take him down, get him tired, and end up finishing him in those later rounds. A lot of people are off the Colby Covington bandwagon now, ever since he was disrespectful to Leon Edwards, and then he went out there and just didn't show up. But Covington said I think he had a broken foot, and that was the reason why he couldn't do a lot of his things, and I'm going to take his word for it. I know a lot of people don't want to believe these things, but when fighters get hurt, they get hurt, and things happen. And if he was really serious that he broke his foot, he should go in here and take down Joaquin Buckley and totally dominate him. If you guys remember that 4th and 5th round for the Leon Edwards fight, guys, you would see that Colby Covington was putting it on Leon Edwards and starting to show up in those 4th and 5th rounds where he started taking him down a lot more. And I just think he's going to come out here against Joaquin Buckley and do that from the beginning. So give me Colby Covington as an underdog to go in here and win this fight. If he loses this fight, he's probably going to retire, and I don't think he's ready to retire. So give me Colby Covington to go in here and win this fight. And all right, guys, that is it. I am out of here. That is it for all the video I have today. That's UFC, the last card of the night. The last card of the whole year, guys. So let's cash on this. Like the video, subscribe to the page, come back every single day, guys. I'm here all the time doing different MMA events. I do soccer, I do NBA, I do the NFL as well. So come back all the time, guys, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And one more thing, guys, let me just say this. Colby Covington going to cash the underdog ticket, and I'm out of here.